This is a follow-up video to a recent video I did on agnosticism. It was called An Apology for Agnosticism. I wanted to just say a few things that I hope would clarify what it is. Agnosticism is essentially, it's defined, as I understand it, as that not only the position that I do not know what the truth is, but that we cannot know with our rational minds, with our thinking intellect, we cannot know what the truth is. Now, I don't necessarily agree completely with that. I think that with our rational mind, we can get closer and closer to the truth through becoming more and more reasonable. Right? And I think that what I was getting at with this idea of agnosticism was really coming to the place of non-judgment. Non-judgment means that I may follow, I may have certain beliefs, because we all have certain beliefs that we basically live by, even an agnostic, right? And some people have pointed out that yeah, you could be an atheist and still be agnostic. You can be a theist and still be agnostic. And some have claimed, for example, Bart Ehrman, he claims to be an atheist and an agnostic. I think he understands that ultimately he does not know, right? And I think that most thoughtful people will say, yeah, I hold that position. I hold the atheist position, but in reality, I don't have the final answer. I don't presume to have the final answer, but I live as if I'm an atheist. Or theists will say, yeah, I don't presume to have the absolute answer, but I live as if I'm a theist. Now, what I'm trying to get at is those who perhaps are not that reasonable about this, and they take more of a hard and fast position. And I think that even the most reasonable people do tend to get into that kind of position where they will say, yes, I really don't know, but they still act as if they do know. and they criticize and put down others on the other side, even in that place of not knowing. And I think the agnostic, the true agnostic, is really getting to that place more of non-judgment, which is I'm not going to put you down. I'm not gonna criticize you or try to make you look bad or insult your intelligence. I'm gonna say, look, this seems, like, for me personally, I'll just say, I have my beliefs, or I have my things that guide my understanding, and I believe it's based on evidence. Like I've had certain, let's say, spiritual experiences, mystical experiences, or even just, you could say synchronicities and other things that have happened that led me to think that there's more going on in the universe that can be dreamed of in my philosophy. I believe that's Hamlet, right? Shakespeare. There's more going on. I don't know what it is. I can't tell you. I can't give you, the absolute of what's going on in the universe. But I sense that there is more going on. So I've called that the Gnostic agnostic position, which is, yeah, I know what I know. I've seen what I've seen. I can't prove it to anyone. If anyone is really willing to listen, maybe they can get a sense of what I think I know. But ultimately, I cannot prove it. And I cannot I wouldn't take either position, atheist or theist, because I really don't know. Is there a God at work in the universe, or gods? I really don't know. I sense on some level there are. But I also think the atheist has a good position as well. And that, even if there are these forces at work, does that mean that these things created the universe, and that somehow I need to worship them, and I need to propitiate them, or follow, and which teaching do I follow? Which scripture do I follow? Which religion is right? And if there is a God or gods, why are they not talking to me a little more clearly about what I need to do in my life? I think the agnostic position is really getting to a place. What I'm getting at is, I think there's a value in being open-minded and letting people believe what they believe, and not trying to force your beliefs on others, or to show others that they're wrong, or to even get them, even if they are wrong, to make them feel bad or look bad for their beliefs. And this is really a matter of communication. Is how you communicate things to people. Is you can communicate things in a way that people can hear and people can listen to, that makes sense and that feel reasonable. And you can communicate things in a violent way, in a judgmental and attacking way, that only helps for people to get more entrenched in their positions. And I think that's what tends to happen when you take a position. Even agnostic position, you can become more entrenched, right? But I think with the atheist or the theist side, what I see is people tend to get more entrenched in their position when attacked, and they tend to, in a way, seek revenge on the attacker, and it ends in a kind of a warfare, battling things out. Like I said, that is interesting and entertaining in a sense, but and sometimes it can definitely help to bring us more to understanding and an informed decision about these things, because each side is doing its best to bring up the best possible arguments, right? It's like a competition. It's like in the Olympics, people are competing with each other, but in a sense it's a friendly competition, because they know that they're in competing with each other, they're bringing out the best in themselves, right? So that's the positive, I think, of all the debates and the argumentation. The negative, though, is when you get deeper entrenched in your own belief system and are not open to new ideas, and you're not truly open to seeing things as the other person sees them, and not opening to even listening to what they're getting at, right? Because I think that once you really do that, you will get more in the center, and more in the middle, and you will see it's not so clear cut. Things are not black and white, and there's one of Trump's great quotes, that his infamous quotes are, "There's fine people on each side, on every side," right? What he said was not wrong. He just said it in the wrong context, because there are fine people on all sides here, right? And I think we need to acknowledge that, And I would like to see more and more discussions. And there are some really good videos coming out on YouTube where people are on either side of the debate are talking about these things in a way that raises the bar and raises the understanding versus bringing it down. And so I'm just, what I was trying to say was not to put down anyone, but just to offer a caution, which is, are you really listening? Are you really opening to hearing the other side? Are you really open to hearing the best version or the steel man argument on the other side and dealing with that versus the straw man? Or are you going to continue to try to make the other look as bad as you can so that you can feel better about what you believe? And I think that's what it's coming to, and I think that's what we're attempting to do. All of us really is to transcend our own bias and to come more into a place of wisdom and understanding as opposed to judgment and narrow-mindedness. So that was just a little bit. I didn't mean to do this such a long video, but hopefully this is a little bit helpful in clarifying what I was saying before. I think it's really about getting to the place of knowing that you don't know, but also recognizing that is, knowing that all I know is I know nothing, but that knowledge of knowing nothing is something, and being in that place in regard to all of these questions can be very helpful, because then you can really listen to others and you can really hear what they have to say without fear and without feeling threatened. Thank you so much for listening. I would love your comments. The last video I did, I'm doing a follow-up video because that last video got the most views and comments probably of any video I've done recently. So I'm curious to see what happens with this one. All right. Thanks. See ya.